some people are morning people, some people are, not morning people. So they prefer to do the exercise at night or in the afternoon or whatever. You have to be in this life. It's an experiment, and in this experiment, you are the experiment, and you're the one who's doing it. You're the scientist.
Pretty much.
Yep, that's true.
So you have to, keep on trying. Some things will work and some things will not. The things that are not working, you'll have to change them. The things that are working, you need to put a discipline for that. It might work for one day and then the second day, I don't feel like it. So you have to put a discipline into that. You have to put it on your schedule, because whatever is on your schedule gets done. Whatever is not on the schedule gets forgotten, because we have too many things.
Just like that, we have
Episode
episode
262 of A to the Show. Wow.
260 something. Let's stick with that. How about that? Yeah, and today we're
Traveling
joined
around the
by
world.
our very own
Back in-
Emil. Right,
Right on.
welcome back, Emil.
Amazing.
And we also have Mr. Hady himself. Hady, let the world know who you are and what you do.
Well, hello guys. Hello everyone. My name is Hady Safa. I'm the CEO of Standards. It's a consultancy and training company. I'm a motivational speaker and I have a PhD in talent management. I've been doing this for the last, 20 years now, between training and motivational speaking and some coaching, which I don't like to talk about coaching, but the other stuff are good.
Perfect. And you do, I want to ask you first, how do you stay motivated? Like to keep motivating people?
Well, as I always say, it's a mix between pain and pleasure. This is where, motivation is running away from pain or seeking pleasure in what you do in life. So these two bring you motivation. Sometimes you want to achieve something, you want to do something so bad. You work hard for it just to get there. And some other times you don't even have a choice. I look at it as a way, let's say you're jogging, okay?
Right.
And someone comes to you and say, hey, run fast. First thing you would do is, why? Just ask him, why? So two choices. One, he would say, okay, if you beat me to get to this point, you will get $10,000. That could motivate you somehow.
The ultimate motivation, actually.
No, not the ultimate one. The second one is the ultimate. A tiger is on the loose. Run.
Or fight.
Sometimes, yeah. So you have to run. You have to run away from this tiger, or else,
You're a tiger's lunch.
Yep.
Most of the times we don't even have a choice. The first instinct is survival, right? So sometimes you don't even have a choice. You have to stay motivated. I live in Lebanon. How bad that can be.
Right.
But you don't have a choice. You have to always be motivated in order to start the next day and to continue what you've been doing, especially if you have responsibility.
Wow. It's true. It's hard to stay motivated sometimes.
I was just gonna say
motivated.
Yeah. I am suffering from a lack of motivation to do what I do. There's this thing I want to complete in life, and slowly every year I feel like I'm less and less motivated to finish studying or even pick up like a book.
We have this thing where we have a big goal in front of us, and this could be a demotivation by itself because it's a huge goal. It's so big. What you need to do, Ali, is just to chop it down. Chop it down into pieces, and don't go for extreme big achievements within a day. Just go for micro wins. Robin Sharma calls them micro wins. Every day, a small win, a small victory. Small victory is doing something. Chop this big goal into small objectives, small goals, and try to achieve every day. And, just one step. So let's say if I don't know anything about podcasting, and I get one piece of information every day on podcasting, in 1 year, that would be 365 informations, right? 365 pieces, 2-3 years, I would be a master in podcasting. Right? But if I spend 1 week just working my ass off trying to learn everything about podcasting, I'd give up. I would even start, you know.
Yeah.
But if you take it piece by piece, that would be better. It makes much more sense.
But the thing is, like, how do you deal with, because the ultimate demotivator is failure, right? And we've all at some points in our lives failed at one thing or another, and we all had to go and face this ultimate question of try again or just completely quit, right? And now more than ever, I see a lot of people choosing completely quit instead of let's try it again, but this time better, right?
But it depends on the situation. Sometimes, some people say winners don't quit, right? But wait, there's another version. Winners don't quit, quitters don't win. But the people who do not quit and do not win are completely idiots.
Are they though? They didn't lose anything.
So Einstein defined being an idiot, defined stupidity as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So if I'm trying today and I failed, I should learn from this failure in order for my next try, and then the next try, and then the next try. When Thomas Edison, let's say, invented the light bulb, he failed around 10,000 times creating the light bulb, right? But when he was asked, how could you fail 10,000 times? And the guy said, listen, I did not fail. I learned 9,999 ways that this light bulb wouldn't work. You see, it's a matter of perspective. If I fail in the same mistake over and over again, I'm not learning. And I will get demotivated. If I do the same thing over and over again, and I don't get the lesson, I will be demotivated. But if I learn the lesson and move ahead, I would figure it out. I would figure another way to do it, or I would figure out that, you know what, maybe this is not made for me. Maybe I was not made for this. It's no shame in changing the direction or changing even the goal. But the shame is never trying.
Yes.
That's really demotivating.
Wow, that is true. A lot of research, people do fail a lot, but they get past that. From what
failures are actually the lessons. We don't learn by winning. We learn by losing. We learn by failing.
I realize that a lot, actually. Whenever I've had the hardest moments in my life, it's always been like the biggest lessons, and I've like changed trajectories from those moments. Always, at least for me.
You know the quote, "Life is a bitch."
Life is a bitch.
There's a continuation. There's a continuation for that. Life is a bitch because it gives you the test and then gives you the lesson. See, unlike schools, schools you learn the lesson and then you go for the test. In life, you get the test and then you learn this lesson from that test.
Well, we're hoping to learn lessons from different. We don't make those mistakes. So could you tell us, Hady? I'm wondering, could you give us a lesson? Imagine we're all in our 20s right now, right? Yeah. What's something you wish you knew in your 20s that you would tell yourself, a younger version of you?
I wish I did not care so much about others' opinion. This can beat you up when you're in your teenage, and then when you're in your 20s, you make a lot of effort to get the validity of others, and then the validation. And then you realize, you know what? I'm not gonna get it anyways. One, and two, I will not be able to satisfy everyone around me, and three, nobody cares.
Right, everyone's busy with their own things. Yeah.
But we learn this late in life. I mean, I see it daily on Instagram, on Facebook, on all the social media platforms. People trying to get the validation of it, and then the assholes who are really responsible for this created the buttons for that, created the like and the heart, and just for you to get the validation you need.
I agree.
Toxic.
100%.
I agree. It's very toxic. Yeah.
People spend a lot of time and effort and money just to show the ideal picture of themselves, the ideal video, the ideal shot, the ideal life projected by this shot. And again, nobody really gives it down.
It's
you
true.
Realize this later.
It's true. No, I've come to realize this like a while ago, is that like, what is the point of, like, it's very degrading, especially nowadays, and I'll speak very openly with this conversation. I hate it when I see these like these young women. They're posting pictures of themselves like almost naked just for like likes and thousands. And the thing is, thousands and thousands of guys actually like and do all that stuff, right? I don't care about the guys because guys will be guys, right?
Including me.
What?
No. I was gonna.
Guys will be guys, so I don't care. But what happens is, you'll know, like I've noticed that later in life, these girls try to run away from their past because now it's starting to haunt them, right? And it puts them in a really bad situation where I used to care so much about likes and like external validation, let's call it. I did this stupid thing when I was like 18, 19. Here I am 25, 28, 27, around this age. I'm trying to run away from it, but there is
I branded myself in the wrong way. And now I have a personal brand stuck to me on my back. Everybody labels me as such, a person that I'm not. You know?
Right.
It does.
In a coaching session, a lady came to me and said, why don't anyone consider me for my brains? I mean, I'm a poet, I write, I do this and I do that. And I said, you know what, let me get a mirror. So
it's true.
Got her a mirror.
It's true.
How are you
Right.
How are you branding
I think
yourself?
people will generally create images for other people all the time, but I don't think like you can simply reduce social media to just say that it's all about validity, like, or getting validation. A lot of it, even if it's positive, or even if it's done for the sake of other people, if it's for entertainment, that's also a way of like interacting with the world around you, and and a lot of positivity can come from that, even if it is like you said, Ali, some women are posting pictures like that. I don't think that necessarily reduces who they are or what they're doing to just that image. That's up to the person who's observing what they're doing. But on social media, it's a platform that people use to share things that they're interested in. And so if you want to share what you're interested in, sometimes it's going to appear superficial to you, but you can't always make the assumption that it is always superficial, that it is always about...
Stuff she's doing in the video is very superficial. What do you mean?
I'll tell you something, guys. For any system, any software, any platform, anything, okay? It's the process that's in it. So whatever input you put, you will get the output accordingly, right? For any software, for any platform, stuff. So yes, the system is great. Social media is amazing. It's an amazing tool for communication. It's an amazing tool to reach your message. Right now, we're using it actually to make our message reach the audience. Yes, you can use it in this way. You can use it in any good way you like. But in any system, you put shit in, you will get shit out. I mean, the way I'm branding myself will make it or break it for me. I know now for a fact that me, Dr. Hady Safa, will get around, 200, 300 likes for a quote or for a video that I put, etc. And then there's another guy who is simply singing stupid songs. I'm not talking about nudity here. I'm not talking about ladies. I'm talking about a guy who's actually singing stupid songs. He could gather 60 or 70,000 live attendees on TikTok.
Okay. But yeah, that tells you about what people are interested in. I know it's not like the most... I know it's not always the greatest fact out there, right? You would wish maybe people are more interested in altruism or like being generally good people.
The line in front of a prostitution house was always longer than the line in front of a book house.
Right.
Yeah.
It was always the case. Now it's just exposed more because you're on the internet.
Exactly. True. The reason I'm talking about this is because I think this is what's dumbing down the population more and then making people more and more demotivated about themselves or about their surroundings or just in general demotivated, right? Is they push out these like stupid videos that have nothing to do with anything. They do not benefit you in any way possible, right? The only thing they do is they make you either self-conscious or just as you are. Like, think about it this way, right? If you spent every single... Sorry?
It's entertaining, though.
It's entertainment, man. But you watch junk on YouTube, right? Don't you just watch like dumb videos?
Dude, if I look through my last like YouTube stuff, it's like literally like history. I watch a lot of history on YouTube and food, how to cook stuff. Right?
Don't you play League of Legends or Warzone or whatever?
But that's not even if you are watching, even if you're watching history or you're watching cooking, you're watching it not just because it's teaching you something, it's because it's also entertaining.
Yeah.
And also a lot of lessons that you get from watching something, you derive them yourself. It's by your own observation.
True.
And you can observe anything really, and you can derive your own lessons from that. It doesn't need to be I don't like the idea of putting like things into boxes. This is good to watch. This is a good way to spend your time. This isn't, right? Let people like go out and discover and just be independent. And once you give them that freedom, they'll stumble upon things by themselves and they'll figure it out. Well, maybe I shouldn't be, like you said, on the line to a prostitution house when I'm struggling so much to pay my bills, right? Maybe I need to go to the bookstore to learn something. But you can't just push people towards it.
I mean, of course, life would be boring in front of the bookhouse all the time. You know,
we're really sticking to this.
Entertainment. You need to live life to the fullest.
Yes.
Mr. Asmar, I did not mean this literally.
I know.
No. We're just talking. Yeah, exactly.
The thing is, I don't mind having, if you have this identity, if this lady has this identity and she needs to show it, by all means. And guess what? She will earn the respect later on as being an icon in this. Like Mia Khalifa, for example. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, the lady...
What, like 50 million followers or something at this point?
And now she finished her career and she retired and she got married, and above all odds of the Arab world and all the taboos and, this is, I don't know what. Guess what? I finished my career, I retired, I got married. Fuck you.
Yes. Like you said, it doesn't matter. The opinions don't matter.
The thing is, what I'm trying to say is, if you label yourself on the social media in a way, okay, you don't expect people to treat you otherwise. You don't expect people to label you otherwise. You are making your own brand.
Because it's like branding yourself, PRing yourself. That's the thing. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For sure.
And if you're fine in branding yourself as such, fine. Nobody has a problem with that.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like the consequence, you harvest what you crop, right? So so if that's what I mean, like, so maybe those people, like you said, they're doing something stupid or they're doing something dumb by your standard, but in the end they're the ones that's going to backfire on them or reward them. So
and sometimes there are stupid marketing strategies that really work amazingly. Really, in today's world, in the social media, there are really some hilarious. You just don't get it in the ABCs of marketing at school. Okay, but on the ground, let's say go do something stupid, get viral, do another thing that is more stupid, 2-3 times, you're famous, and then what? Start branding yourself.
Yeah. Jake Paul.
Start branding yourself and start making things make sense.
Yeah. Here's the question.
After the fact.
How do you reinstall motivation in a person who's completely given up and lost all hopes in doing a certain thing or just in doing anything, right? How do you reinstall that motivation?
You see, everyone in life at any stage, okay, needs a purpose somehow. Now, our role is just to show them this purpose for them, not tell them what to do, not tell them where to go, not tell them what's the next step or how life is beautiful. No, actually, it's just guiding them through questioning, guiding them through asking them questions that will open up their minds into their options, what they need to do in life, what they are. I hate the word, what am I born to do?
Right. Well, how do you find it? What's your purpose?
How do you
is what
find
you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Purpose can be changed literally every day. Okay, we don't have like one purpose.
Okay.
You don't have like one purpose in life. You were not born to do this thing only. No, there's a timeline whereby you would do something at 10 years old, and then you would do something else at 15 or 20 or 25,
right,
until you're 90 even. There is a purpose. Every day there is a purpose. I mean, me today sitting down with you guys, maybe
that's
yeah,
your
maybe
purpose.
there is
That's
a
my
purpose.
Yeah.
You know, how we met on the internet, how we're doing this right now, who is listening to us. There is a purpose. Maybe someone somehow would get a message that would enlighten them to do something, or to inspire them to do something. So every day we have a purpose, and we might have different purposes. All we need to do is just to, try to spend, as I always say, try to spend the resources we have in an adequate way. Now, what are the resources? Time, effort, and money, or materials. Okay?
Materials, right.
And guess what? During your whole life, you will not have enough.
You can never have any of the three. That's true.
Right.
In the first third of your life, you have all the time and you have all the effort, but you lack the material.
Right.
Young.
Tell me about it.
Like you can there are even some people you can see, like people who are, let's say, affluent or a little wealthy, right? They have the money, they have the time, they just don't have the effort. Right?
Yeah, because there's no challenges.
Exactly. But how do you achieve all three?
You can't achieve all three. What you can do actually instead is manage with what you have. Manage with what you have in terms of effort, in terms of time, and then in terms of money. So
right.
Let's say we want to go out. No, you know what? I don't have much money. Let's go do something within our budget. I don't have much time. I only have 1 hour. Okay, let's do something within this 1 hour.
Right.
Let me try to manage as much as possible.
I don't have effort.
We get to postpone a lot of projects because we say, you know what, we don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. We actually, if you chop this project into pieces, as I said earlier, you can actually do half an hour of it for like 10 days, and then you will achieve it.
And there's a lot of rigidity with plans too, right? People always want the opportunity to come at their schedule. It's like, no, most likely the opportunity for you will come, but not at your schedule. It will come when it has come, and you need to seize it when it comes, not when you want it to come.
Yeah. You need to be ready for it with the 3 H's, with your head, with your hand, and with your heart. Now, with your head, i.e. knowledge, with your hand, i.e. skills, and then being ready, having all the skills needed to do it. And then with your heart, the attitude, being open for that opportunity. Because a lot of opportunities come and you just, I don't feel like it. Somebody would come and say, Ali, let's go out, let's go have a drink or something. Nah, you know what, I don't feel like it. And then the guys go, and then they meet, I don't know, maybe the girls of your dreams. Right? Or, Ali, you were not there. Why? I didn't feel like it.
Because I didn't feel like it. That's not. You're right. You're true. Like what you're saying is right. But there's one thing we didn't mention, which is lack of effort. So we talked about the time. We talked about money. What about effort?
It's actually putting the effort in a way that actually makes it work. All right. Let's say I work 9 to 6, 9 to 7. Something like this, and I want to go to the gym. So when I first, it hit me that I need to go to the gym. I'm starting to have a belly and stuff. I'm 40s, so I went to a gym near my house and put down my name and started. But guess what? 2 days down the line, I didn't have the effort anymore. Why? Because I finish, and then I go home, and then I change and put on my training suit. And I'm leaving the room, and here is a moment of truth. So I'm going my way to the gym, outside that room, or the bed. The bed is here, a nice siesta would be great. What would I choose at the end of the day when I have no effort anymore? I will choose that. Right. So this mechanism did not work for me. A smart way to do it then, lesson learned. I'm not going to go to that gym. I'm going to go to a gym that is near my office so that I wouldn't have any excuses. I will finish work and then I will go down to the gym that is below my office, finish my gym session, take a shower, and then go home. And it worked beautifully for me.
So maintaining momentum.
Yes, and you know your efforts better. I mean, some people are morning people, some people are, not morning people. So they prefer to do the exercise at night or in the afternoon or whatever. You have to be, in this life, it's an experiment. And in this experiment, you are the experiment. And you're the one who's doing it. You're the scientist.
Pretty much.
Yep, that's true.
So you have to, keep on trying. Some things will work and some things will not. The things that are not working, you'll have to change them. The things that are working, you need to put a discipline for that. It might work for one day and then the second day, I don't feel like it. So you have to put a discipline into that. You have to put it on your schedule, because whatever is on your schedule gets done. Whatever is not on the schedule gets forgotten, because we have too many things.
It is. Do you think that life is, as you grow up, do you think there's more distractions in life or less? And how do you keep away from distractions?
It's like a game of levels, The more you go on, the more the levels go hard.
How can one make these levels easier, per se?
They can't get easier. You just get better. You just get better in doing them. You just get more skills and more knowledge. 20 years ago, if I'm presenting, or if I'm being present at this podcast, I wouldn't be able to answer all your questions. I would be, opening Google and opening my PowerPoint presentations and my books and stuff. Now I can go for 6 hours talking about any topic you like that I master. Why? Because I just got better. I just got more experience. I just got more skills.
Interesting. So I once said the saying, but I'm not sure if this is correct or not. I once told a friend that time keeps going. You either keep up with it or fall behind and then having to catch up, right?
Absolutely.
But every time I say this, I also wonder to myself, how do you keep up with time? How do you maintain that momentum of keeping up with time so that you don't have to catch up later?
You see, it's a simple calculation, actually, Ali. It's a simple calculation. You have 24 hours. Take from them whatever time you need to sleep. How much is that?
8 hours for me. Mine, maybe.
Right. Let's see. 24 hours a day. I need around 8 to 10 hours. So I'll go 8 hours. 16 hours left.
That's 16. Okay. Now, from those 16, you need to commute, go, come back, to all the places you're going to throughout the day. You have to eat, you have to drink, you have to take a shit, you have to, smoke a cigarette, etc. This will leave you with only 6 to 7 hours, maximum 8 hours of productivity.
True.
And those hours of productivity, you have to also distribute the tasks accordingly. I mean, you cannot read and study for 8 hours in a row. You have to go to the other line. Not the line of books. You have to
really sticking to this.
You have to catch up with your friends on WhatsApp. You have to meet a friend for a drink or for coffee or stuff like this. This will leave you to a maximum of 3 hours of strong productivity per day. And this is where you have to act accordingly and then plan accordingly. Plan the hardest tasks on this particular slot of time. But if I'm putting, let's say, if I have a report to do for my for my thesis, for my university, stuff like this, and I put it at 10 a.m. and I know for a fact that 10 a.m. I have 100 calls on my phone. I have to reply to thousands of messages on WhatsApp or on my Instagram or whatever. I will not be able to focus. People are coming in and out. It doesn't make sense. Let me put it on another slot, maybe at 11 a.m., 11 p.m., where everybody's at rest. Nobody's bothering me. I can put the phone down and I can focus alone. This is me time, so I can plan accordingly.
Interesting. All right.
Somebody said once, people who fail to plan will be doomed forever, serving the ones who did. Okay, So if you don't set goals, if you don't have plans, you will be working for someone who has goals and has plans. He will take you on a trip.
I think the one I heard was failure to plan is planning to fail.
Yeah, when you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. Absolutely. Yeah. And get this, if you don't put it on paper, okay, it will not happen. And you take a look at changing the lube oil for your car, okay, or even washing the car, or doing something for yourself, that's not important, not urgent. You keep on postponing and postponing and postponing. Once you put it on that schedule, it will happen. If you don't put it on the schedule, you're just going to keep on, postponing it. I was writing my book, and I was, I always believe that you have to be so creative and you have to be so inspired in order to write, or else don't write. So I left it until my aha moment came, and then I wrote down the chapter or half of it. It took me 10 years, man. 10 years.
That's more than I've been alive. Right?
Yeah, I'm publishing it next month. But literally, I started writing this book in 2011. Doesn't make sense. No, you have to put things on paper. You have to put things on the schedule. You have to have some quiet time in order to do stuff, and then leave those slots for the interaction with people. On your average, you're 20s now, so you're probably considered generation millennials / generation Z.
Right.
You guys spend 5 to 6 hours daily on social media.
On YouTube. Yeah.
Social media, whatever it is. Even WhatsApp is considered so.
Right.
6 hours. That's
a lot.
Yeah. When you go up, you would say, okay, what did you do with your life? I spent 1 quarter on it on social media, and then another quarter on sleeping. Damn,
right.
That's half my life.
That's half my life. I want to ask you, Hady, you were talking about planning. How do you plan? How do you like to plan? Do you plan like years ahead? Do you plan months ahead? Do you plan for the day?
The day for the week.
For the day and for the week?
Yeah. If I have a yearly goal, I chop it down into quarterly objectives, and then monthly objectives, and then I plan accordingly my week and then my days. It doesn't take an effort really. Let's say we're having a podcast today at this time. I jotted it down on my schedule and it happened. Okay, that's the thing. But there are 2 types of tasks that you do, right? Generally, during the day, you do 2 types of tasks. One of them is called maintenance, and the other is called development.
Right.
So these are the 2 categories. You're either maintaining, like eating, sleeping, drinking, going to the job on time, stuff like this, that you're just maintaining, even if you're talking to your girlfriend or chatting with her or texting her, good morning, sweetie, and that's maintenance. You're just maintaining the relationship.
Right. Yeah, it's like a routine, right? It's just like monotonous thing you don't think about, but it's just something you do. It's maintenance.
Exactly. Right. And then there's the development part, where you're reading a book, you're taking a course, you're developing.
Okay, so what do you tell people that want to optimize their development? What should they do?
First, I'll tell you, you don't have to ignore the part of maintenance. Okay, you get to, when you get a bit older, you would find out, I left the maintenance behind on my body. Let's say, I need to catch up now. So we tend to ignore the maintenance and the 20s. Teenagers, and then in 20s, and then early 30s, you start realizing that, oh no, I need to do some maintenance here. Okay, so don't ignore the maintenance part and focus only on development. Number 2 is realizing that this is the age of totally screwing up. Just go ahead and screw up. Go ahead and make mistakes. Go ahead and you have the time now. You have like 4, 5 years, 10 years, you must learn, and we learn by experience. We don't learn from good experiences only. We learn by good experience and then bad experience. So now is the time to actually screw up. Try things. And when we were first discussing about, okay, how do I know my passion? How do I know my purpose? There's no other way but to actually experiment things. Okay? And then I said it earlier in a video. artificial intelligence know what your passion is. How come you don't?
It has the data.
Yeah, they give you content that you are after, actually. So they know more about you than you.
Right.
They know your preferences. They know what you're seeking, they know what you're searching for. How come you don't know?
Right.
The thing is, we were trapped in the regular jobs, in the regular careers. You know, when you grow up, you have to be here in the Arab world. You have to be either a doctor, a lawyer, or
engineer.
Thank you. There's the fourth
Two
one.
out of three.
Podcaster. Podcast host.
2 out of 3 are in this right now. Two.
Yeah. But actually, today there are a lot. I mean, there's around last statistics was there's around 1,200 jobs that are only considered by this Generation Z. That half of them we didn't even know they exist 5 years ago, like content creator. What was that 5 years ago?
What's us?
Yeah. Yeah. What is it called? UX, UI.
What's that?
User experience, user interface.
Right.
User interface.
Yeah. Coding, AI.
15 years ago, when we were introducing project manager, the project manager position, it wasn't there on the organizational chart in any company. 20 years ago, when we used to say HR, human resources, people misconceived it as the person who does payroll and attendance, you know, the personnel. But today, human resources is I don't know, it's the biggest department, it's the backbone of any company. So there's a lot to explore, and there's a lot of things that people would do. Actually, 70% of your generation and of Generation Z, you know, the ones of my children, would go into entrepreneurship more than into a regular job. If they went to a job, they would go to a job that has a purpose, with a company that has a vision, a purpose, a corporate social responsibility, that has a mission. It's not that, you know, they just want to get the job.
You know, where's
the
what's worse is for kids like me, Ali and Amir, who are basically stuck in between these two generations of half of us are actually into this corporate day-to-day, you know, and the other half is trying to go through the entrepreneurship, whether it's through social media and things like that. Some of us are stuck in the middle and they do both, like me, right? So basically, so what do you think?
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a blessing. Yeah.
Maintenance, development. Remember? So you do 9 to 5, your maintenance, your job, day to day, and then what you do from 5 till 9 p.m. is what counts as development. This is where you need to think about your startup, what you need to think about your entrepreneurship project and stuff like that. And this is your time. If you're not going to do it now, when are you going to do it?
When are you going to do it?
I'm doing it anyway.
Right. I'm getting, I want to ask you, Hady, before we wrap up here, I need to know something like more personal about you. I want to know, like, in your life, you're talking earlier about, like you just want to collect moments that make you live and, like, memories. What are some of the memories for you that stand out in your life?
You know, some moments that, you know, took my breath away.
Yeah.
The moment I held my son for the first time, and then the same moment when I held my daughter the first time. Today, Muhammad is 16, Leia is 13. They're more of friends / daughter and son to me. But these were moments that took my breath away. When I decided to quit the corporate job, to quit the 9 to 5, I was the group director of HR for a group that had 6 companies and all the luxury of the position. And I decided to quit. I went to my managing director saying, I have 2 documents for you. One is my resignation, and the second is a consultancy agreement. So that was a moment that took my breath away because it was my last employer and my first client. So and the journey was not easy, really. The journey was not filled with roses. The journey was filled with khawazit. But
Spikes for those.
up until now, yeah, it's never gonna be easy. It's never gonna be easy. But you just get, yeah. I mean, you will get the skin, you will get the experience, you will get the knowledge, you will get to be
wow.
in order to face it.
I'm curious. You said that, I mean, your kids and of course your family is the first thing that comes to mind, right? When a lot of people are choosing maybe not to have families because maybe it's too expensive, or having less kids, or not getting married and stuff like
or
that.
Or they take too much of your time, for example.
Or they take time, right, and effort.
You ask me and my wife now, okay, would you get married at the same age? We would both say, hell no. We got married very young. I was 25, she was 21. We were so young. Okay, so if we were to redo it, if I was to redo it, if she was to redo it, we would get more exposure. You see, what's happening today also is the exposure. It's the amount of options that you have, not only in relationships, okay, but also in life in general.
Right.
I mean, yeah, today you have so many options. Starting from Netflix, you have so many options of TV shows, of series, of stuff like this. Even if you're watching a series, you're watching something. You actually stop it to go and browse for other things. This is how much options you have, and how much less commitment you have to what you're doing. Back in the days, man, TV opened at 6 p.m. and we had to watch whatever there is on the TV at that time. It was not a choice. So yes, people got married more because they used to live in closed societies. There was nothing much that you could do. But today, yes, you have a career, you have friends, you can make a whole journey on even a WhatsApp group around the world. We used to wait for information from outside to be delivered. Let's say watching the World Cup, we would watch a game like 3 days later. Today, it's just a click away. Everything is so fast. You have so many options, and hence you have less commitment in relationships. And it's not something bad, in my opinion. I mean, if I was to advise my son or my daughter right now, I wouldn't advise them to get. I don't even advise them to get married at a young age. There's a lot of exposure to be taken. There's a lot of countries to be visited. The more you travel, the more you know that you don't know nothing. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, a lot of important information was said on this episode. It's something everyone should really reflect on, I think, of the many topics that we discussed. Honestly, right. Everyone should take a few minutes, even an hour of their day to reflect on half the stuff we talked about, if not all, right?
Of all of it, right?
Yeah.
And just like half an hour to reflect in general, man.
It's good.
After this talk.
Right. Self-reflection is very important. Thank you for watching another episode of A2 The Show. If you enjoyed this episode half as much as we did filming it for you, please do like, subscribe, and share. Special thanks to Emil, and special thanks to Mr. Hady for coming on the show today and talking to us. It was very insightful. Yeah. I learned a lot from you, and I will try to apply them as much as I can in life. Is there anything you'd like to shout out or let the world know?
Before we, Hady, I want to ask you one question. One last question before we wrap up here. I need to know one thing. You mentioned that travel gives you exposure, and that you should live your youth among traveling, right? Can you tell us a bit more about why is traveling so important? Because you mentioned it.
Yeah, I'll tell you my experience. First time I traveled, I was the training manager of a hotel, and I was transferred from Lebanon to Oman. Okay. Now before that, interestingly enough, I used to be a DJ. I used to have hair. And I used to be DJing at a dance station, a dance music station. I used to have a rap show, a hip hop show. I used to have 2 MCs with me. I used to have tours in Lebanon, concerts. Having 4,000 or 5,000 people in front of me as an audience, it was amazing. And by then, you think that I've been exposed to it. I'm wise now. I'm wiser than my age. And then when I got to travel for the first time and went to Oman, started to live there actually outside for the first time, this is when I realized, Hady, you know shit. You don't know nothing. You don't know other cultures. You don't know other nationalities. You don't know others' way of thinking. I was running away from the discrimination, the religious discrimination here in Lebanon. I went there and I saw, hey, there's ethnic discrimination. There's more of that. There's, more complicated things. There's more cultures. There's more people's way of thinking. Once you meet other nationalities and once you meet others' lifestyles, you get to know that, okay, I might change my opinion, this or that. And this is what made me realize that the more you travel, the more you see others' way of life, others' lifestyles, others' cultures, backgrounds, you would get to know the difference and you would start to absorb and actually accept different values that you would have considered one day maybe very wrong or opposite to what you think, and it would be diabolized somehow. But once you get to be exposed to them, you start to understand the other's point of view. You would still have your own values, your own beliefs, but with more of empathy to the other.
Interesting. Well,
wow. we can wrap up now. Wow.
That expands your
that again. Thank you guys for watching another episode. Like I said, special thanks to you guys for coming. Mr. Hady, is there anything you'd like to shout out or let the world know?
It was a pleasure meeting you guys. I always like this being exposed to different generations, different point of views, different backgrounds. I try to learn from you as much as you were learning from me. And of course, as I told you, I have another podcast. It's called Qarar Qadar. It's the same as my book's line, which is Decisions and Destinies.
Yep.
The book is coming soon. The podcast is there on all the platforms, Qarar Qadar. And of course, follow me on Instagram. That's my main platform. It's Hady Safa, Hady Safa. That's the handle. And the YouTube channel, it has the same name too. And it has a lot of motivational / training videos in Arabic and English.
Link to all of that and any other social medias you might have in the description below. Please do check him out.
If you're motivated, subscribe.
Motivated, subscribe. That's cool.
I'm gonna ask you, were you motivated after the session?
I feel very motivated. My head is full of ideas.
I have a lot.
Yes.
I'm motivated, but I also have a lot to think about when it comes to myself.
Yes.
So that's the main important thing we have.
Definitely.
Thank you guys. Like, subscribe, share, or else see you.
See you. Woo!